Hello everyone, Maurice and welcome to Things Invest. Talk about investing, finance, fresh development. For today's video, terms only. The investment I'm going to talk about today would be Ethereum ticker ETH. So before I head on to my day, and I do have a relatively long day today, the producer actually called me early this morning saying that she's going to be about 30 minutes late to our appointment because her camera crew and her truck crew needs to be reorganized. I think one of the cameras malfunctioning, so she's trying to get a replacement. So that's still give me like a 30 minute of a time opening. So I decided to come back on a camera to obviously keep you guys updated. It's important that you guys are well informed, especially we are seeing these volatility with respect to Ethereum. With respect to Ethereum right now is trading around $1904 level, down about 3.7%. In respect to earlier this morning, we did see a couple of negative news, and I would say these are more like regurgitating historical news, right? That's kind of driving some sell-off across the whole crypto market. You can see Bitcoin right now down about 2.52%, Ethereum down about 3.7%, basically hovering at the level that we have identified previously, the $1,900 level after breaking the, basically the 1960 that we were hovering around yesterday, but obviously through the night, internationally perspective, we had a little bit more selling pressure. And also some news that we got from today, from Cointelegraph, from Decraft, basically regurgitating about the Chinese crackdown, basically regurgitating around the breakup that we had with Elon Musk on, not utilizing Bitcoin as a form of payment because of the obviously the environmental issues that we've been cultivating and try to solve, right? And more backlash on a social perspective on just the environmental concern, right, with respect to just all the shutdown in China, and also with respect to the value proposition, how sustainable is it with respect to like mining these Bitcoin and mining this Ethereum, while at the same time Ethereum 2.0, in a technological perspective, shifting to 2.0 is still going to be an issue with respect to like the high gas fee costs, and also it's still something that we need to work further towards, right? But with respect to these media affectation that we hear from Cointelegraph or Decraft, collectively speaking, you could read between the lines and the adjective that these people use. They definitely have like a certain incentive behind or a certain bias behind their verbiage, try to influence the market. I think that's another form of media manipulations or some sort of big whale manipulations, if you may, because like we don't really know who's really controlling or who's the central lord, if you may, of Decraft or Cointelegraph or all these other media publication companies, right? Ultimately, these are trying to basically do a storytelling affectation to the media, to the public, to try to influence public investors, especially to sell the market, right? And that's something that they want, right? So right now, I want to be going through a technical analysis again to see how we're trending going forward with respect to the MACD and the RSI line, and what should be the level of dollar cost averaging going forward. So stay tuned, stick around, let's make some money. Alright, so moving on to the technical analysis for Ethereum ticket ETH. I'm recording this off 8:25 a.m. My call time's actually at 10, so I still have a little bit of time before I head out. With respect to the price level right now is at 1905, down about 3.67%. Let's take a look at the technical analysis closely, shall we? Right. Per discussions yesterday in my previous video, we know that the level of consolidations are basically in the certain frames here, right? We have that $2,050 level, right? We have that 2,000 because it's a flat number that we have, right? Any flat number like 2,000, 1,000, 3,000 or whatever thousand, those are flat numbers that typically will kind of consolidate because those are numbers that people psychologically like to buy at. It's just a flat number, more of a mental thing. And then the next level I told you, up per the 1960, will drop all the way down to the 1900, right? And the level that we're at right now, the 1900, is not really a substantive one because again, this is more of just flat number again, right? Any hundreds, right? So I think the actual numbers that we should be ideally testing, which is a more consolidated area, would be this green line that I drew here, right? At the 1858, right? If you look closely, 1858 is a level that we've dropped multiple times down to, despite these black swan drops that we've had incur. Basically somewhere around like May 19th, and also with respect to May 23rd. We have a bunch of time consolidation here, right? You could see a bunch of candles, right? Durating from basically April 2nd all the way to basically April 21st. And then you see some time back in the day as well on February. And do we see any more? That's it. Yeah, so those are pretty strong consolidation level, right? And the 1850 will be the next ideal level for us to get to, and I think the propensity for us getting there would be ideal, would be likely at the same time. But today's a Thursday, so is the weekend affectation coming in earlier? I don't think so. It's just because of the negative news that we heard about, summer slump, if you may, right? That is causing some sell off, right? And you can see that currently we are breaking the 1900. We are heading towards the 1850, like I'm telling you guys. It's going to happen. I think the more comparable level would be the 1858.42 if you want to be more precise. And that's just based on the level that we've been trending on an average perspective. Um, a negative thing that we see on a bearish signal perspective is that the MACD did cross, so you can see the yellow lines cross downwards. RSI is kind of depleting right now, so that's a good thing because as the RSI goes down even more, and as we go down a little bit more, we'll hit to a point where we will have to rebound and slowly recuperate on the MACD perspective. So I do see 1850, potentially even 1750 by this Friday or Saturday. And I think that will be the dip, to be honest with you, ahead of the Sunday, which typically will be a rebound, and especially on the fact that 21st is the summit. So that's something we want to be mindful of the anticipatory pressure that could be percolating starting on Sunday. We lead up all the way to Wednesday. So it will be a relatively sharp volatility type of swing that we might be seeing. Like we could potentially, drop down all the way to 1750 by Saturday, but by like Tuesday ahead of the summit, we could be somewhere around like the 2150 or even higher, right? It just depends on how volatile and oscillation, right? So I do think the dip is coming, and I think it's coming right now. But I do see some sort of volatility today. I think the equity market is still trying to shake out like where to go. But with respect to the equity market, I told you how extremely stretched up we are on both indexes, right? You can see how overly bought we are on the MACD perspective as well. We need to cross down. Right? We're slowly crossing already. Nasdaq, same thing. We crossed, so I think the sell-off is definitely coming from Nasdaq. It's just a matter of like when is the balloon gonna pop? When is hedge fund gonna start bleeding everybody out? So shorting the equity market right now, especially during the summer, would make sense. So I think it's going to be a pretty bloody couple of months coming for the equity side. So something to be mindful of, but I think these are just opportune times for, to dollar cost average, and I think these are healthy corrections that needs to incur. Just to recap all the numbers and technical analysis, again, right, the 1900 is an attractive level, but we do have a high propensity to go down to the 1850 because the cross section is formed, number one, and secondly, the 1900 is not really a consolidation level that's substantive. It's just a psychological mental level that we've had historically, right? Any flat numbers like the 2000, the hundreds, right? These are oftentimes levels that we typically consolidate, right? It's just more of a mentality thing rather than an actual substantive consolidation zone in a psychological perspective. So I think you will want to probably watch out because of Friday and Saturday. So definitely hold your cash on the side and see how that will play out going forward. But if there's a positive news that's coming, right, despite the news we had earlier today on the basically keeping tabs on all the negative news that we've been having so far, obviously things going to sell off the crypto market, right? But weekend is oftentimes a place for us to ideally dollar cost. So I think that will be a better opportune time in just more of a risk mitigation perspective. Corporate adoption 20%, 9,800, 5 times your money if you buy at the 1960, but obviously it's lower now, so it will be more than 5 times, probably 6.5. Alright, so that's it for today. Respect my technical analysis on Ethereum ticket ETH. Hopefully this was helpful. I know it's a relatively quick one, but luckily I got like a 30-minute time frame that I could use per the rescheduling of the shoot. So hopefully this is helpful. I will be on the phone on the day. Obviously I'll be working, but I'm still gonna be relatively responsive. I always try to make sure that you guys are comfortable and obviously secure with respect to how we're trending, because I know it can be an emotional roller coaster. So I totally understand where you're coming from. But that's why logic is so important into calculating and executing your price level. So really appreciate it, and hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.